Welcome to Ask Earl Anything. This is the show where your questions make the show. If I don't have questions, I don't have a show. To be honest with you, I almost didn't have a show this week because I didn't get any questions from the last show. It's kind of different for me. I normally get at least one or two questions. This week I had no questions, but yesterday I did a cover of a Bob Marley song, and at the end of the Bob Marley, well, let's say it this way. When I released the cover of the Bob Marley song, I got immediate feedback because you guys seem to really kind of dig something a little different. And one of my longtime subscribers, Mr. Dimma, had a question. And the question went like this. He said, I'd like to ask you some strange question. Can you mic the hi-hat by two microphones, one on the top, one on the bottom, to show us each of the ways, and to get to hear the sound top mic and bottom mic? I'll be grateful to you because it's a big experience for us, your subscribers. Also, because you have all the required equipment to do it and teach other people. Thanks. All right, Mr. Dimma, I took your question to heart and I did it, but I didn't do it the way you asked me to do it. I didn't put two mics on it. What I did was I took the same mic and I put it in two different places. So I'm going to give you a version of my playing, in context of playing, bottom mic, and then I'm going to give you an in context of playing version top mic. And I'm going to do this in an off-camera way, so there's going to be a little bit of a voiceover, which I normally don't do for Ask Earl Anything. And that way you could really hear it. Because what I want to say about miking hi-hat, and why I don't mic hi-hat a lot in this studio, is because I've got such a great overhead set up that my overhead mics pick up plenty of cymbals and hi-hat, and I never really need a hi-hat mic. Now, I have certain clients I work for that want hi-hat control in their mixes. So I've done a couple album projects this year for people. And by the way, let me just use this as a commercial, because every once in a while I get somebody who watches my channel and maybe a guitar player or a keyboard player. I don't think I have a lot of those, but if I do, please identify yourself. I have been actually, I do drum tracks for people all the time. That's one of the things I love to do. Now, I like to do with people in town if possible, and I am working with a good friend in town now who goes to church with me, and we're working on some projects, and I got some interesting tracks in the can in the last month that I've really enjoyed doing, experimenting. But I also do tracks for people over the internet. People call me up, people write me, people say, hey, do you want to do a track? Depending on the project, depends on what the cost of the track is to me. To be honest, if I'm working on your album project, it just depends on what it's about. You know what I mean? I don't want to say I do free tracks because I actually get paid for doing tracks for people. I'm just not trying to make a living at it. If I was trying to make a living at it, I would be competing with some great drummers out there that do this for a living. And I'm not trying to compete with them. What I am trying to do is, if I seem to fit your niche style and there's a song that seems to fit what I can do and I can work with you, great. If I have the style that fits your needs, okay? So that's the way I approach it. So if I'm working on a project with somebody and, you know, the music turns me on, like let's talk about KM Drums, Kelly's project. Kelly hit me up, friend on YouTube, says, hey, do you want to do a couple tracks? I said, sure, send me the music. He sent me the music. I played a couple tracks. I sent him a couple versions. He said, I like this one. I didn't like that one. I make stems of all my stuff. I send it to him, and then he mixes it, and it ends up on his album project. Awesome. I did a couple videos last year from another project, Scarlet Rising, a friend of mine, Joe West. I did most of his album. I haven't heard the completed version of it yet, just rough mixes for the most part. But his album, he wanted a hi-hat mic, so that's when I threw a hi-hat mic into this. So that's where this all started, was the hi-hat mic question. But I just want you all to know, I do drum tracks for people, so if you're interested in drum tracks, let me know. another thing before I go into this question, because when I go into this question, I'm going to take it off camera. I'm going to do a voiceover over the actual playing of the track, okay? I did an Earl Asks Anything segment this week that came out this week, and it was with Mikey V. You might know Mikey V from YouTube. If you don't, please check his channel out. He does a lot of more metal covers, but I had the pleasure of doing some Skype lessons with Mikey on brushes. I just want to say that in that I've done Skype lessons for people, so if any of you drummers out there would like to take a Skype lesson with me, even one or two, and just pick my brains on some of the things that you do, and we can hook up together and work on things. It's actually a fun environment to do it, and I've enjoyed doing it. I have limited time. I'm actually a rather busy person with YouTube and family and my day job and all the things I do there, but I do enjoy doing Skype lessons. So if you would like to take a Skype lesson, hit me up. I'm available for Skype lessons. I'm available for recording sessions. Mr. Dimma, now I'm going to answer your question. Now let me preface the question in this. When you listen to the track, you're going to have, it's going to come in with the full track. So you're going to get the way I mix this track. And by the way, I mix the drums hotter in this track for a reason. I mixed it hotter because I thought that it would really bring out the hi-hat in the track. Now, the mix of this track is going to have overheads, tom mics, and all the mics in it, including the hi-hat mic, where I thought it sounded appropriate. What's going to happen, and I'm going to bring two versions in. There's going to be one version of the song mic'd over the top. The other one's going to be mic'd from below. It's going to go over the top first, mic below second. What's going to happen is the music's going to be on full version. Then I'm going to cut the overheads and with the music on, and then we're going to go to just the music out, just the hi-hat, kick, and snare going, all right? And then we're going to bring the overheads in. It'll be apparent. And then you'll hear the full band mix till it fades. And then we'll do the second version, and the second version will be mic'd from below, where it's at right now. This is where I left it, from below. And it's going to be the same thing. It's full band, cutting the band out, cutting the overheads out with the band, then bringing in just the drum, kick and snare and hi-hat mic, and then going back to the overheads and then back to the full band. So you get the effect of hearing the hi-hat being mic'd. Now, I'm using Paiste 505 hi-hats in this example. And I'm miking with an AKG C1000S microphone, circa 1999. This microphone was one of the first microphones I bought for my studio in 1999. They are actually, I have a pair of them. They're actually great overhead mics, but I have two other better overhead mics in my opinion, so I use them more often than the C1000s. So the C1000 will be on the hi-hat. It'll be mic'd from the top. Now, what I did with the top mic is I came in a little bit of an angle away from the snare. I'm trying to get, actually, I think I come in with this kind of an angle away from the snare. I'm trying to get as little bit of the snare in as possible, but every microphone on a drum kit picks up the snare drum. Every microphone on the drum kit picks up the kick drum. So when I'm mixing for covers, I have to be aware of that. Now, what I do with my toms, because it picks the snare up, is I gate my toms after the fact. Not going in, no gates going in, gates after the fact. Just about every drum cover I do, I gate my toms. Okay? And what I'm trying to do is get rid of kick and snare. Kick and snare have a modicum of each other in it. Actually, I do gate my kick normally, so my kick drum is normally gated. My snare is not gated because I'm a heavy ghost note player. Now, let me say something about ghost notes. The track I'm going to play is a song called Feeling All Right. I think it's loosely based on the Dave Mason version. This song was done for a Music Minus One record called Drumstar back in the 60s or 70s. I had it as a kid on an album. I've done a cover of this way long time ago, 2 years ago. I think 40 people have watched this cover. I will be releasing a full cover of the version mic'd from underneath. That's version take number 6, it says. It's actually, I only did 4 complete takes. I had a couple half takes and I kind of tossed them. So the reason I'm going to put that take up there was I think it had the most excitement in the ending part of it, more than anything else. All of the takes had this kind of pocket that's in the song. None of it was done to a click. It was all done with a live band, and the band kind of likes to push and rush in a New York style. So it's your typical New York jazz studio band pushing rock music, okay? So it's got kind of a push, and all I wanted to do with this song was sit it back in the pocket. Now, a couple other things about this song. Drums, my drum tunings. I've been getting amazing sounds out of these toms lately, and I've been really digging some of them, especially some of the recordings I've done recently. I am using vintage Ambassador coated heads on the toms with moon gels and stuff, the like. The kick drum is an Evans 56 EMAD with nothing inside the bass drum, and it's sucker pounds. The snare drum is a Ludwig Black Beauty 5x14, and when I hit the drum, I just heard this splat coming out of it, and it's because one of the lugs are detuned. If I tune this lug up, I'm going to get a little bit more of the crack out of it, but I left the lug detuned. And actually, what I've done is I finger tightened the lug. So that's pretty much all I'm doing. I'm taking my finger and tightening it a little bit, and it's right where my snare, my left hand hits, so my backbeat. So I'm cracking that thing, so I'm loosening it as I play. That's the vibe. So I got a really cool vibe on the 2 takes you're going to hear. What I'm going to do, I'm not sure I'm going to talk over it. I think I've kind of explained what it's going to be. I think I'm going to put some titling over it. All right? And then I'm going to do an ending, so I'll come back for the ending part. All right? So this is take 3, full band with overhead and hi-hat. We're going to just hi-hat and kick. The overhead's missing right about here. Now this is just hi-hat, kick, and snare. The overheads, it's pretty apparent, you can kind of hear it. It's a little bigger with the overheads, for sure. Now we're going to bring the full track back in, right here. So this is take 6, full band. Notice the hi-hat is in your left headphone. It's panned hard left, just like my overheads for that side. Now it's just kick, snare, and hi-hat. Just kick, snare, and hi-hat. my little Bennett thing. I should be talking over this. Total Bennett. Overhead's back. Sounds bigger. And here comes the full mix. The only thing I didn't do was take the hi-hat out, just the overhead. That's just like about every other mix I do. I rarely use hi-hat in my drum covers. It's all based on paradiddles, guys. Tried to do a gag gimmick there. Hope you enjoyed this. Anyhow, thank you for watching Ask Earl Anything. I hope this lesson, Ask Earl Anything, was informative to you. If you like this lesson format a little bit, I used to do these as drum talks. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed this. I can do more of these. If you ask more technical questions, I'll take them one at a time, as opposed to like when I get lots of questions about drum gear and things like that. But this one is only based, this whole Ask Earl Anything is only a little bit of an update on my week and all about feeling all right, miking the hi-hat from below and above. Which one did you like, Mr. Dimma? Please let me know in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Thank you all for being subscribers. Thank you all that watch my videos faithfully. I do appreciate it. Thank you all that comment on my videos. I am blessed to have you guys as friends. Some of you are actually very good friends. You've become friends over the year, last couple years. I shout out to you guys often. Hopefully you enjoyed this Ask Earl Anything, and I look forward to doing more of these like this. Have a great day. Your questions make the show, so ask lots of questions for the next show, and that's when another show will show up. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.